In the last video, we talked about the in-person consult. We highlighted kind of the main stages, the chapters that make up a successful consult. We're going to spend time today talking about the other two ways appointments can happen. That's going to be the phone consult and then the go show. Now, really, the goal is to still have those 8 steps happen with these two types of appointments. They're just going to be more broken up because of the type of appointment we're talking about. The first one is the phone consult. Now, the phone consult could happen for a lot of reasons. They might have some major hesitations and they don't want to waste time coming into the office in person. They think a phone conversation will be a little bit quicker. This might be someone who literally does not live in the community and they have to call in from a different part of the country. Now, a third option might be that they're just so busy that they just don't have a lot of time to travel into your office and spend that large chunk of time. So maybe they just can only do a quick phone conversation because of their busy schedule. Either way, let's plan on a phone consult not being as long as an in-person consult. Now, there's a chance. You might be pleasantly surprised that on the phone, someone says, you know what, I'm ready to just get this done and start working with you. If that were to happen, that is an awesome surprise to work with, an awesome problem. What you should be prepared to do is you should have your agency disclosures and agency representation docs on your computer ready to email to them, and you just pretty much say, we're going to go over this over the phone if you have the time. Worst case scenario, they want to do this. You say this could take some time. Let's do a follow-up phone call to just get that paperwork out of the way. Now, that's a best case scenario. Let's not plan on that happening. Let's plan on a phone consult to be half as long as the typical in-person consult. And again, we're not going to probably go as in-depth when we're not seeing someone face-to-face. They're probably going to have their walls up. They're not talking to an actual person in front of them. So let's not push it too hard. We're still going to start with forward. Hey, nice to meet you over the phone. I like to know who I'm talking to. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Give me the 101. You can make a joke out of it. Tell me your condensed autobiography. I want to know the person that I could be helping out. Again, there's power in taking that interest and pausing to say, I want to know who you are. And most people react to that pretty positively. Now, some might have their walls up and say, yeah, I don't really need to get into that. And you can say, fair enough, and know this is going to be a very task-oriented person. So let's gear our conversation towards more task-based topics. Let's talk strategy. But again, with S's being the majority of the world, this pause to take an interest in them often works. So we still want to do that forward-based first part. Let's learn a little bit of a base. Say that's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. What's got us on the phone today? Let's ask about that motivation. What's your circumstances, your situation? And here's probably where we could try and spend a lot of time in the phone consult allocated time, really learning their story, why they're looking, try and name a pain point if it exists. Let's make sure we walk away understanding why they need help, repeat that back to them, and use that for future follow-ups. So we learn their motivation. We say, okay, really what I like to spend a lot of this time doing is learning about your search criteria. We're not meeting in person right now. What I can do remotely is I can learn what's important to you in a house, what you need. I can set up that automated search, get you set up with that, and we could find a follow-up time to connect, and let's talk strategy. Let's look at what we're seeing together with this search. Let's discuss the market. Let's see if there's anything that we could get you into. That's a value add. Now, if they're in person, and by that I mean if they live in your community, then there's a chance for you to meet them in person at the house, something they're probably more willing to do. If their walls don't come down and they're willing to meet with you maybe in person later on. Maybe their walls are still up and the best you can do is set up that go show, which we're going to get into here in a little bit. That value, that follow-up conversation based on the search you could set up for them is so important. We maybe could get through 3, maybe 4 parts of a crucial good consult, and we need those follow-up interactions to keep going, to keep learning more, to hopefully get them to a place of getting through that paperwork with them. So, We've learned the criteria, we've offered to get the search going, and we should definitely, absolutely try and be prepared to wrap with that hesitation seeking. Hey, happy to get this search up and running for you. Would love to schedule a time for us to follow up and talk about what we're seeing on the market. Maybe I could schedule some showings for you. Oh, by the way, as I do that, I'm curious where you stand as far as working with realtors and your understanding of this whole process. What's your comfort level? What hesitations, concerns do you have about this process? What could I answer for you? What could I find out for you? We should still ask that important hesitation-seeking question. Based on what they tell us right then and there, we could give them a quick answer that makes them at ease and helps those walls come down and make them more willing to work with us. Or with everything they list off, we may realize we're not going to address this over the phone right here, right now. But in the name of being proactive and showing them service, maybe we send them an email with some answers to their hesitations. Maybe we schedule some time in that follow-up conversation about their search criteria to address some of those concerns they brought up right then, right there. We're not going to get it all in one swoop, unless we're pleasantly surprised and they're so impressed they're willing to work with us right then and there, and we do it over the phone with the paperwork. We're not going to do it all in one swoop, right? Let's find the information we can use to continue to show them value and continue to address with that follow-up conversation. Now, here's another thing, is they might have a house criteria and you find out from all this stuff that they don't live in town. They are so far away, they're in another part of the country. Here's a great chance to show value, which is, hey, I'm happy to get into houses with you virtually. We could use FaceTime to look at properties. I'm happy to be that person for you to get you an idea of what's going on in person in these houses. You could also seek to learn, are you going to be coming here anytime soon if you need to buy? Are you going to be here in person? If there's some upcoming time they're going to be here, you should be starting to plan out how to roll out the red carpet for them. To say, hey, I would be so happy to pick you up from the hotel, from the airport. If you want to drive to our office, you can get in my car. I am so happy to welcome you to this community, to show you around. Let's schedule time to get lunch, get coffee. Let me show you parts of the city. Let me help you understand what this town is comprised of as part of me scheduling some intentional showings we could do with you in the time you're here. This could be something that really impresses people, that you're ready to be just their sole tour guide and major resource to help them navigate perhaps a new community they're moving to. Again, you're setting up a future opportunity to continue to learn about them, to keep this relationship alive and show them value. That's the major thing to remember about a phone consult. How can you learn what you need to learn to show value and schedule a follow-up time to execute on that value? A very similar dynamic when we talk about the go show, the other type of appointment. Go shows are probably the way the real estate industry is trending. In this day and age, people can access houses online, and more they want instant service. They want to click a button that says, show me this house, and really all they want is someone to just open the door so they can see it. And we have to accommodate that. If they have an expectation of just someone getting them in the house and we try to get a consult to happen, that might upset them. So we have to be okay with being okay with just opening the door for that client or potential client and going from there. So this is an interesting dynamic. They have not agreed to wanting to learn more about a realtor. They haven't bought into wanting to learn your story, to be open to talking to you. They're going to go into a house, you're just the doorman, doorwoman, and now we have a finite amount of time. The amount of time they're going through the house, seeing what they want to see, is the amount of time we have to learn about them. So this is an even more concise, bite-sized portion of those consult steps. To really stop and say, maybe over a phone introduction, to confirm that you're good to meet them at the house. Hey, by the way, tell me about yourself. I'd like to know who the person is that I'm meeting, if you're willing to, And some people have that wall up and say, yeah, I don't need to do that. Let's just meet at the house. And you say, fair enough. The best thing you can do in that case is when you meet them at the house, they haven't been willing to share anything with you over the phone when you confirm the appointment to meet them at the house, is to kill them with kindness. to keep taking an interest in them, to keep asking questions, to ask what's got them looking in the first place. That is some of your best strategy you can do to try and tear that wall down. And sometimes that wall is tough when really, again, their sole objective is to focus on the house, not you. So in this situation where people's walls are up, how can we overcome that? Even if they're S's that might have walls up to say, I don't trust this realtor. I don't know who they are. I just want to get in the house and get out. What can we do to whittle away at that wall to show them that we care, that we could be of value to them? One of the best tactics out there is you get a request to see a house. Someone just wants to meet you there. What you can do is practice proactivity. You can look at that house, study it, pull up comparable houses that make up that bedroom count, that bathroom count, that floor plan, that style of house, that location. You could be showing up to that go show with a list of similar properties to offer to them. You say, hey, by the way, I don't know if this is your criteria exactly, but if you're interested, I did find similar houses that I'd be happy to show you. This does a few things. This shows that you care, that you want to work hard for someone, that you practice proactivity, and it also gives you an opportunity to have that follow-up interaction to continue to whittle away at learning who they are, at breaking down those walls, to show that you are a valuable, hardworking, caring realtor for them. That's a powerful tool. Now, going out throughout this house, if you can learn anything about, again, their motivation, if you can learn about their house criteria to fine-tune that search you already came up with, if you can learn anything about their hesitations, again, that is a tool for you to send them information, to send value to them, to show that you're willing to work hard for them, that you care about them, that you think about them, that you want to get solutions for them. If you learn an inkling about their unfamiliarity with the lending process, that's all you can get out of them in a go show. That is all you need to reach out to them and say, by the way, here's some standard answers to some lender questions people have who are just starting out. Here's a lender that you can reach out to who's really great at educating people. Here's the interest rate. Here's what the interest rate means. Here's what it means if the interest rate jumped 0.5%. And by the way, again, here's some houses I found for you that you didn't ask me to find. These are houses I thought of to share with you in case you want to see them. This is us showing value as much as we can for them to realize this person is worth something. I might be more receptive to what they have to say, what they're asking about me. This offer of value, this proactive value offering, that's almost you trying to build your raft, your boat, to navigate this river. There's this wall, this river we'll call it, that's in the way of us having them want to commit to us. We want to get from one side of the river to the other side to trust, to them trusting in us, to them believing in us, to them being more receptive, to actually wanting to sit down and work with us. That river is so different depending on the person. Some might be really pleasant to meet, you find a lot of connections, and that's just smooth waters to cross to them, easily learning to trust you and deciding, you know what, actually you're not just the door person. I want to learn more about how you can help me and commit to working with you and sign that paperwork. Other people, again, the walls are iron curtains. It is white water rafting that could sweep you away. You have to take your sweet time to navigate those waters, to show value left and right, to be proactive, to gradually, slowly get across those raging waters and finally get to a point where you just can sense it. They see you're valuable. They're reaching out to you with questions, asking to see things. They are using you as a resource. That means you've gotten closer. You've gotten to that point where they trust in you. And that's when we can say, let's sit down. Let's really go through this process together. Let's make sure I can give you everything you need for this to be a successful partnership. Let's get that in-person consult out of the way. Let's get that paperwork signed. There you go. Go shows can take some patience. They need follow-up plans, plans to intentionally show that value, to be proactive. All of these things are so important, not just to say, I got you into the house. Okay, well, hopefully they get back to me. If not, whatever, there's always the next appointment. No. Everyone is worth putting that proactive time into, and it will pay off if we do that proactive effort. And we can't assume there's going to be another softball for our next appointment. We could live in a world where everything's a go show and everyone's got an iron curtain up. So that follow-up plan, that effort, that proactivity is so important, and it will translate long-term. Phone consults, go shows, it's not all going to get done in one swoop. We have to get it done bit by bit and earn their trust by the value we can show for them. Can be done. We just got to be aware. We got to be proactive. Proactive is the word. Write that down. Clearly, that's Connor's favorite word for this session. Proactive, proactive, proactive. There you go. The 3 different type of appointments we could cover. The previous videos in person, and now these 2. Hopefully this was helpful for you. We're still going to practice those 8 steps, just in different ways. Now you know what to expect. Now hopefully you know that you need to develop some strategies to crush those 2 different types. Phone consult and the Go Show. Good luck to you.